guys, welcome back to Wednesday Night Live with Izzy and Rek. We are on episode 4. Yep, episode 4. We took a little break last week. We went out to the Hollywood Bowl in Hollywood to go watch Netflix is a Joke. One of their festival dates, we got to go see Matt Rife. I was able to score us tickets like in the pool circle, 7th row, dead
Super
center. It was the coolest experience. There's multiple comedians there. Gabriel Iglesias even came out and surprised everyone. He wasn't even on the roster.
Stood up for him. That was really cool.
People gave him a standing ovation. Yeah. It was the coolest thing. I feel like his set was probably one of the best.
Oh yeah. Well, he's a headliner, you know.
Yeah.
But he did.
Yeah. He did a phenomenal job.
Surprise. That was a super cool surprise.
We didn't expect that. We were already pretty inebriated by then, so we were extra supportive. Yeah. You couldn't miss the 4 chunky people standing up.
I was wondering if they're gonna I didn't care. I was like, pick on me. I came to get picked on today.
Oh no, I didn't want to. I wanted Matt Rife to see me, but I also did not want him to pick on me.
You say that, but every time we get tickets, it's front row, and you're like, I'm so scared. I'm like, well, that's the whole point. Then we shouldn't get. But
Matt Rife does a lot of crowd work, and it can go good or it can go bad. Any comedian can
go good or go bad. Yeah, it's
all the young girls got his wrath. He was not kind to them at all. It was cool though. It was a neat experience. I'd never been to the Hollywood Bowl. I was supposed to go see the Backstreet Boys a couple years ago, and last minute I wasn't able to go. I had to go sell my tickets off, and so it was nice to finally experience it, to see it. It's featured in a lot of movies, and it was everything that I thought it was going to be. It was really cool. And because we were in that pool circle, that front section, we had our own VIP entrance. Not our own bar, but the bar and the restrooms were so accessible. It was really nice.
It's it was away from everybody. Because even when we walked up, we asked them, is there a bar, a restroom on the lower level? And everybody was saying no. Mm-hmm. Until we got there, we're like, oh yeah, there's a whole other area.
There,
but nobody really goes over there unless you're seated in that area.
That's true, yeah, because everyone was kind of going back up to the front. Mm-hmm. No one warned me how steep of a walk it is. I thought, oh, okay, our hotel was close by, but my lazy ass still went and rented a Suburban, through Lyft, and we lifted to the top of the hill. Yeah, but it dropped us off, and I thought, okay, because it's Lyft, we get to be in a little bit more, so it's an easier walk in. No, we still got dropped off across the street. I had to walk under the tunnel and then up this steep-ass hill. Yeah. And I was like, this is why I don't do, Six Flags and all that, because I got to walk uphill all the time. I ain't about this shit.
This, for some reason, it was, very steep. Oddly steep. Because even at Six Flags, it's not really that bad.
Yeah. I just feel Six Flags, you're just walking uphill all day. Just that alone, and in the heat, I ain't having it. But it was a cool experience. It was definitely worth it. I didn't know that they did I think it was 11 days of it. I just happened to be on Ticketmaster, and I have a list of comedians that I want to see, or concerts I want to see. So I'll go and check periodically to go see, who's got tickets out, so I can snag the floor tickets. Primarily not because I'm bougie, but it is so nice and convenient to pay that little extra fee. And on the floor, anytime you have floor seats anywhere, there's a restroom nearby, which if you're drinking, you need that. Yeah. There's a restroom nearby, and there's a bar nearby, and their own concession stands and everything that aren't accessible to anyone in the risers. So then you're also not in a bunch of long ass lines. Mm-hmm. So it's really nice. Even if you are shoulder to shoulder with people, if you decide you kind of want to stand off to the side, or in the hallway leading, to the audience, they'll let you kind of do whatever you want. They kind of just let you be a little bit more free and have a good time. Yeah. Which is why I will always invest in that little extra. Some people are like, oh, well, it's $20 cheaper and you can sit on the risers and it's right here. Okay, but yeah, if I sit on those risers, I have to take the steps all the way back up to heaven and get my beer and then hope I don't fall all the way back down. Yeah. And I will fall. So I paid for that extra little convenience, so it was really nice. But so yeah, they do 11 days of this festival, and or at least this last time they scheduled 11 days. It was like from the 1st to the 11th, leading up to Mother's Day, and every day was like a big headliner. And I just happened to look for Matt Rife, and I found tickets right away, and so we got them. And as I started looking, I was like, wait, it's a Netflix special. And I started looking at other, like I ended up looking up the Netflix special, and it was this long list of all these comedians that we love, and just different days, different headliners. And I said, you know what? Next year, I know that I have like a big Mother's Day season here in the studio, but definitely next year, I want to plan like at least from like the 1st through the 5th, whoever we can see, go see 5 days worth of it. Have that be our vacation, like our me, you vacation. Go get an Airbnb or something. And if other couples want to go, like, let's go. We're a good time. We're not crazy. There's no drama. So everyone's always welcome to come and join us too.
Our after party is usually in the hotel.
Yeah, and usually it consists of
just
drinking a little more than going to sleep because
we're
tired. It's vacation time. I want to sleep.
Yeah.
I don't have to put a child to bed. I don't have to do any work. I can just say I'm tired and crawl into bed, and that's probably the best thing I can do on a vacation. I don't know how people party still till 4 a.m. and have all that energy. Omar's parents party, and they're in their 60s. Like, what was it, Easter that we left their house?
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, Omar, let's go because I'm pretty sure your parents are tired.
You were making me feel bad.
Late.
I'm like, dude, it's fine. It's barely like 10 o'clock.
So I had taken the till from the register that day because I was like, shit, we're gonna be gone. And my intention was to stop by the bank and put the money in the bank. But I accidentally took it with me. And so we took it in the house and we just put it in the house for safekeeping. And we had forgotten it. So his parents live in Kerman. So we're already driving out. We had picked up the kids like late night McDonald's just so that they're not complaining when they get home that they're still hungry. And I said, oh shoot, let's go back to your parents' house. Like, let's go get the till bag. And they weren't even there. They were on their way to the casino.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, they live in Kerman. The casino is still, so it's 20 minutes to Fresno, and then another 20, 30 minutes to Chachansey, right? From Fresno. And even if they cut across and go in the back roads, they went to go travel like almost a damn near hour just to go gamble, and it was already like 11 o'clock at night. And I was like, dude, when they looked like they were tired. And he was like, no, my dad took a cat nap. Like, it's fine. I said, I'm tired. Well, how did they host Easter and then decide to go to the casino?
When we went to Vegas, we got in really late.
And they look like the most, like, cutest, sweetest old, like, they don't do anything. They don't, like, smoke and drink or anything.
They're like, they
very
drink.
straight edge, like,
drinks.
But not even, like, you know, his mom wears, like, a little cardigan. Like, she looks like this nice little old lady.
Like, when we went to Vegas, we got in really late. We still, like, showered, I think.
When we went to Vegas with them, we met them out there.
And it was, like 2, 3 in the morning.
And they were still at the casino.
Oh, yeah. They were up. And
I was like, I'm tired.
Yeah.
I'm going to go lay down.
She's like, I just want to go get something to eat. You know, maybe hang out for a little bit, but let's just get something to eat and go back. And, they're ready. They're like, oh, so what do you guys want to do? We're like, Dad, it's late.
It's 3 in the morning. Go to sleep.
Yeah.
Did you bring some BioFreeze for my knees? Because I'm tired.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't party like that. Maybe it's just because I'm knee deep in like mom mode right now with like little ones. I'm tired and I have to be on their schedule, but I hope I'm cool with people like they are. But yeah, no, we're a decent time. Like we're not drama when we go out. So we always are. If someone always expresses that they want to join us, I'm always like, yeah, come on, like join us. You know, we'll figure it out. But I had a good time. It was a good experience. I definitely want to go back next year. We are big stand-up comedy fans. Like I know that we can't always have it on in the background here at work because of, I'm big on, hey, you never know who's walking in the business, and they might not be okay with the cussing in the background and certain jokes around their children. It's a children's studio, so... but we definitely put it on as soon as it's just us by ourselves. We're eating dinner or whatever. We're always watching something. I know that we watched like the roast of Tom Brady recently.
Yeah,
that was
good.
Okay.
It was good.
There was a few comedians that held it up, for sure. But it was kind of a little boring.
Should have just been guests.
Yeah, some of the football players should have just sat and smiled, and that was it.
I felt bad for Bert and Tom because I think they had something. They had like a whole thing, like a whole skit.
They had a skit, yeah, I remember that.
When I think they should have just roasted. Like, I think them together should have just roasted. And I think their way of roasting was like using props and just, I don't think it went as smooth as I thought.
Right. I think even like the Ron Burgundy skit was okay.
That took a little too long too.
And I'm a huge Anchorman fan. Yeah, I can watch that movie over and over. I quote it all the time. And I'm like, do you know what I said? Do you know where that's from? And I'm the queen of quoting movies. And he's like, I don't know, but it was funny.
You nailed it.
Right? But the other one we watched, so we've been cleaning. We've been deep cleaning, spring cleaning here, upstairs in the house part and then downstairs in the business part. We've just been throwing out what we don't need. So in the background, we're listening to all of these stand-up shows, stand-up comedian shows, segments.
Speaking about background, I have so much anxiety with this freaking AC on.
Really?
If there's a humming, there's an AC because our AC is broken.
I'm not having a good time. It's the AC. There's a portable AC.
Yeah. So there's a portable AC right now, and it's like I just hear the humming in the background. So I'm gonna try to edit this, and hopefully it comes out good. And if it doesn't,
well, talk to the mic a little bit better.
Just know that it's because of the stupid AC that.
Why'd your voice drop? Just know.
Just all you ladies listen out there. I'm taking. Nobody cares.
Right?
Yeah, thanks. But yeah, that's okay. Continue. Sorry.
Anyways, the other one that I watched, it wasn't a roast and it wasn't really stand-up comedy, but we watched Kevin Hart's receiving the Mark Twain award.
Yeah.
That was really cool. It was worth watching. It's very inspiring. I'm always very inspired by these comedian stories and how they got to be where they're at, because a lot of them, a lot of their humor stems from going through a lot of hardships in life or as a child, a lot of trauma, and you make the best of it. Yeah. And you can either choose to sulk and be like, well, I went through a lot of shit and that's why I am the asshole that I am, or you learn to love life because of it, and you learn to smile through it, and you learn to take all that shit that you went through, and you become a comedian, basically. Yeah. And how they choose to have their outlook on life and not let it. I've met people and that have been through trauma and choose to stay in that negative headspace, and they turn out to be really just either just down or awful people.
Yeah.
And, blame their wrongdoings on, oh, well, I didn't have a dad, or, oh, well, my parents were on drugs, or, oh, this, or, oh, that. Like, we all go through something, here's your violin, but, what do you want to make of it? Kevin Hart is an inspiration. Miss Pat is my big inspiration. Yeah. I may not have had the same stories as they do, but just, I'm reading her book right now, and her biography book, I forgot what it's called, Rabbit.
Yeah.
And I picked it up a few months back, and I even got it autographed by her. I met her. I got a chance to tell her how much she's inspired me. She gave me a big hug.
I told her how much she
either way, she hugged me, and we have pictures.
She was like...
I was so just starstruck with her.
And I had to tell her...
And I'm not one to get starstruck with people.
I gave her a quick brief... She went through a lot, and you helped her through it, and she thinks she's your biggest fan, and we love your story, and I kind of just broke it because it was like a fast meet and greet.
A fast meet and greet.
And she was looking at me like, okay, little Mexican, keep going.
And I had a stack of her shirts. I was like, I bought all her merch.
Yeah, you did.
The buttons. Right. I was like, give me that button.
Yeah.
But
her merch is funny, though.
Her merch is cool. She's got a shirt that says, fuck them kids, and I have two sweaters and a shirt.
Crack baby.
You have to watch her to know the crack baby joke.
There's a lot of inside jokes. But
I can't always wear Miss Pat shirts to work because I can't have something that says fuck them kids while I work with kids. So, but yeah, no, she's a big inspiration to me. And I had her sign my book, and so I started reading it, and I had to put it down. I think it was like my Christmas season came along, and so now I'm back to reading it again, and it's just reading and like seeing from where she started, what she went through.
Yeah.
I mean, she was a convicted felon. Like she did some time, didn't she?
Yeah.
And she turned her life around. Mm-hmm. And she found comedy, and she got married. She has a wonderful husband. She has a great life. She's a great mother.
If you haven't,
embodies everything I aspire to be.
It's on BET. It's called the Miss
Pat Show.
And the whole comedy is based on like her family basically.
It's and she they write in her stories.
Yeah.
So it's still her, just in a
comedic
family show.
Yeah.
Definitely worth watching. We watched the seasons. I think I don't know if there's another season already out. I don't know if we're up to date on it.
Might be.
But I think it's been a little over a year since we finished that show. But yeah, I mean, all these people, like I am very inspired. And so circling back to the whole Kevin Hart thing and the award ceremony, like I got real teary-eyed in the end because they talk about how much of a humble person he is and how he's so appreciative and he's always there for everyone, and he didn't let fame or success go to his head. Like he still remembered everyone, and he was still. I cried, and he thanked everyone, and like he started crying when he thanked his children, and like really showing them like you guys are my life. I do this for you. And I think with any entrepreneur, not just comedians, not just celebrities, like anyone that is just getting up and busting their ass for their kids day in and day out, like you do that for them. Your life becomes just about them. And if my life wasn't about my kids, Demi sure as hell made sure that my life was about my kids.
Yeah.
My everyday life revolves around my children, adjusting to them, their schedule, showing up, being there for them. I used to be very like about my business. I need to prove my professionalism. I need to prove myself to my community. But I feel like I've done it, and if my community cares in return about me as a person the way I have as them, and I haven't just seen them as clients, I see them as mothers, as parents, and I've worked with people's budgets before, like for whatever they're going through, I still come through for them and work with them. Like, okay, well then work with me. My child has an award ceremony. My child has, a meeting with a social worker because she has autism or whatever. I've adjusted even my work schedule. Right now I work just mornings. Mm-hmm. And my clients have been so gracious about it, and I'm so thankful that they can do that for me, because I will forever say it, and I will always tell my clients and in any post that I put, like, my kids are my life. And so to see Kevin Hart still embody that and not have let fame get to him and the money get to him, like, he still thanked his children, he showed up for them, he brought them to the award show. And that was the one time he did break down crying, was when he was addressing his children. And that, to me, it meant a lot, and it showed who he is as a person. And can't help but fall in love with Kevin Hart. That's it. But watch it. It's definitely inspiring. You want to be inspired and walk away with, like, a motivation for your business, a motivation for your success, a motivation for your family, to change your family situation. Watch their stories. It's definitely worth watching, for sure. You'll take something away from it, for sure. What else did we do this week? This is just in the last week. You know what? I went with my son Saturday night to see this band. They're from LA. They are a Red Hot Chili Peppers tribute band. They're called Red Hot Tribute. And they were great. I know you didn't get to go. Omar was working. He was DJing a wedding. But I told him, I said, hey, if it ends early enough, like, come pack your stuff and come out to the show.
I could have been there.
Literally, you missed it.
I would have been able to
minutes.
watch at least one song if I was informed correctly.
It was a last minute thing. That's all I can tell you.
You were texting me the whole time.
What?
What?
Well, while I was at the show?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But I'm talking about, like, you being able to make it because of
instead
the wedding you were
of
DJing.
asking me to pick up the car, you told me to go straight to Strummers.
Yeah, because I was hoping that you would catch the show, but it was already over.
My biggest thing is that I didn't want to leave all the equipment in the car. There's so many bums. Like I know, I get it, it's Tower, but
yeah,
like it was a lot. Mm-hmm. Like in that corner, I was like, I can't park here. Like there's no way.
Yeah,
and
there's a lot
half
of dark
the time
areas.
I was just trying to like figure out what I'm gonna do with parking. I should have just gone home. I just didn't because I didn't know that you Ubered there. I thought you took because you just text me saying I'm barely on my way to the show. Like sad face.
I thought you would know because usually we do Uber anywhere we go if we are going out. It's one, easy to not have to find parking. Two, then if you do have a couple of drinks, then you're not worried about, shoot, I have to drive home.
Okay, I'll do better at reading your mind next time, baby.
Thank you. I'd appreciate that. That would make things a lot easier.
Yeah.
You would think you would know after a couple of years. But yeah. Anyway, so I'll give the review. Very great band. They're coming back to Fresno again in August, and I definitely want to make it a point to see them if we have the evening free.
Yeah. Well, the CD that you guys bought from them, they sounded really good.
No, that wasn't.
Oh, that was an opening band?
No, that was another opening band. Oh, wow. The local one called Pyrograph. They were actually really good. It's been a while since I've watched local bands for a minute because I kind of stepped away from it. But since my son's in it, my son's about, the rock shows right now. He's in a band right now called Maria. Look them up on Instagram. I think they're called Official Maria, right?
No, it's Official Maria on Instagram, but it's Maria.
Maria, the band, Maria. And so, me being supportive mom, and he's underage, so he gets taken to the all ages show. But I had a great time because I am a Red Hot Chili Peppers fan, and this band was just on point. They sounded like them. They dressed like them. Even their body language, their movements, the way they performed was just like
that's cool.
The band.
Yeah.
So it was a full experience, and that's why always investigate before you go see a band, especially if it's a tribute one, because I've noticed if they're from out of LA, you gotta show up to stand out, and so they did their homework and. That's why they're touring. That's why they're good. That's why they're noticed.
Remember the Elvis at Vegas?
Oh my God. It was like a school teacher filling in. It was ass. It was ass. I was like, I want to go see a show.
There are some girls
and I want to see an Elvis show.
Ladies that were going crazy.
It was ass. And it was like $65 to go see per person.
I really thought it was going to be like a legit.
I thought it was going to be like a show. No, it was like in some back room, and then they were like, okay, you guys got to get out because now we're having Black Thunder from Down Under, and then it was like a news show right after. Remember?
I don't remember that.
Remember all the black guys, the naked black guys? Yeah, remember? And they cleared us out.
Oh yeah.
And you were all, Isabel, turn around, close your eyes.
Yes. That's right. That's crazy.
Yeah, it was never again. I never do that again. It was not worth my $65.
We were so excited too because we wanted to do something.
I am an Elvis fan.
Yeah, we wanted
I've been
to do
an Elvis fan since I was a little girl.
It looked legit.
Yeah.
And then as the Uber is driving, it's leaving Vegas. We're like no.
And we're like,
we want to go that way. We want to where the shows are at. Like, no, this is where it's at.
It was in a school cafeteria. It just was not it. But anyways, never again. I learned my lesson there. Excuse me. I'm recovering from a cough, and so I'm clearing my throat here and there.
Jade started, then gave it to you. Now I have it. Thanks,
I know,
guys.
Sorry. Your cough sounds nasty too.
Thanks. Ugh. Appreciate it.
Thank you for not coughing on the segment.
Yeah, I'm trying not to.
I try to figure out sometimes how in the hell do I find the motivation to do this? Not the podcast, but work, the little ones. And not that she's separate, but my daughter with autism is just a job all within just herself. I had a meeting with a worker today, and she's asking me all these questions about her, and what is she like and dislikes, and she still drinks out of a sippy cup, and I was like, yep, and don't let that sippy cup be the wrong temperature, because she'll throw that shit back at you.
Yep.
Like, I know my kid so well. I know everything she likes, everything she doesn't like, the way she behaves, and I'm just, because I'm there and I'm present, but then I also have to get up and be present for my business, and I have to get up and be present for the podcast, and there's other things that we have in the works. We're actually working with some organizations right now, like local organizations, as far as venturing into the sports photography.
Oh, yeah. Shout out to Aaron Marquez for that. Appreciate you, bro.
Who's Aaron Marquez? Shouting out random people.
The website guy. The guy that got us the whole gig.
I know, but you got to tell people who they are. Well, they don't know who he is.
I'm just shouting him out because he got us the referral.
Aaron Marquez sounds like a baseball player or something random. Like, you don't know. But anyways, Omar's
just trying
friend.
To be nice. Jesus Christ.
This is Omar's friend. I'm not saying that he's irrelevant or he's not important. No, 100%. Thank you for the job, just trying
to plug people.
But, yeah, no, we're working on some big things. There's a big project that we can't say until my name is on that contract. So
I'm gonna say it.
I don't want to jinx it either. Tired of this. We have a big meeting at the end of the month for that. So if that goes through, that's gonna be a big win for my business. There's a couple of other businesses that I've been working on and venturing into, and I've had a lot of self-reflection. Also, I had a 4-hour car ride on the way back from LA where Omar fell asleep, and I was kind of on my phone, but just thinking like, I'm always in business mode anytime I got a free moment. And if I'm not on TikTok, I'm in business mode. And so 20 years of me doing this. When it's not just, me in business on my own. My business, I've been in business for at least, I want to say 12 years, somewhere around there. Since I've been working at it and everything, but just being in this industry, being in the photography industry, all the different things that I try to venture into, and just testing the waters, see where I fit, see what works for me and what doesn't work, and where to just cut my losses and say, hey, you know what, this is cool, but it's not going to make me any money. Like, at the end of the day, I love what I do, but I also love to provide for my family. And that's where my business savvy comes in, because you can do what you love all day long, but if it's not providing for your family, you're still shit poor and struggling, and that's not it either, Yep. So how do you make it work, doing what you love to do, doing what you're good at, making an income from it to sustain your family, make sure your family, is living a good life? And how do you keep loving what you do without letting it turn into the job? How do you keep doing what you do without letting it burn you out? I see many times, I follow a lot of, small business people, and I always try to kind of speak positivity into them when I comment on their posts and, hey, good job, or hey, that's awesome. I try to hire local people too, but, whenever I have like little birthday parties or I need to have a shirt made or something, I try to keep it local all the time. But there's a lot of them that I see that, they get their little success, and then they're complaining for the next week and a half, 2 weeks, about how burnt out they are and how this and how that, and I'm going to raise my prices and blah, blah, blah. Like, don't rant to your clients. Don't rant. I've learned that because I've done it in the past. Don't rant to your clients. Your clients don't need to know that you're tired. Say that to your husband. Say that to your wife. Say that to your best friend or anyone that you're working with. Get your rant out right there. On social media, speak nothing but positivity. Keep it positive. Keep it going, even when it's pouring. Everything's going wrong that could go wrong. Say, there's been days that everything went wrong in the studio. I didn't post about it. Mm-hmm. I've learned to just not post about it. Find a solution and move on, because you need to look like a solid established business. Mm-hmm. And complaining, saying that you're raising prices because you're tired or because it sounds like you're blaming your customers.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, I don't want to hire someone that makes me feel like I fucked up your day by hiring you.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, it's your fault. You're not charging.
You posted a business and I purchased from it. Isn't that what you wanted?
Yeah, exactly.
So I've learned a lot, and I've just done a lot of reflecting the last week. Like, how in the hell do I still like what I do without feeling burnt, without without wanting to quit, without wanting to scream, you know? Where do I find the energy from, the motivation from? And money's money's a big deal for it. But I'm a person full of stories. And I wanted to do like a little story time too. Cause I've never really told this story to anyone. People who are close to me know the story. It's just a story that I'm like, it's a little embarrassing as well, but it's where a lot of my motivation, stemmed from. Spite, for sure. It's funny because I wanted to tell the story, but I'm nervous to tell it, if that makes sense. Okay. So everyone has a story, right? Everyone has a past. Everyone has that story as to what made them decide, I'm going to push, or I'm going to do this. Or so usually it's something big, something significant that changed your life, something that either broke you or, like embarrassed you, pushed you forward. Like, very few people have I really met that have been a successful entrepreneur or a small business person, because I meet a lot of small business people that just woke up one day and they're like, yeah, I just started this business and it was successful, and I have the energy for it every day. No, usually it stems from something that made you say, no, fuck that, then I'm gonna go full force with this. I want this for myself. And sometimes it could just be a divorce. It could be a divorce and you're a single mom and that's what's pushing you forward. Your kids, you're in survival mode. A lot of the time it's a survival thing. I go back to it, mine was spite. Mine was just a weird shove. And at the time it broke me, but it was a push in the greatest direction of my life. Really, truly. I was in my early 20s. Let's start there. I'm going to try to keep it short because I have a tendency to talk a lot. So you cut me off too. You ask me any questions. You got some questions. But I was in my early 20s. I was in college. I was dating this guy that I'd been dating for a couple of years. And, in my head, I thought it was serious. We were even, my son must have been like two and a half. Well, he was like 3 years old. Uh-huh. And so we'd been together, about 3 years? Because we started dating like right after, like a few months after my son was born. And so he kind of was there for the beginning of Christian's life, And a lot had happened. And so long story short, we ended up living together. And my car had broken down. I was working at the hospital at the time as an obstetrician aide. I was in like my second year in college. I had quit my good paying job at Sears and I was making minimum wage and I was going to school full time because I dropped everything in my life and I said, you know what? I need to focus. I need to get my shit together for my kid. If I stay here, if I quit now, I'm just gonna be stagnant. I'm gonna be stuck here for the rest of my life, and there's really nowhere to go because what am I gonna look forward to every year for just a 50-cent raise, and break my back at a job that wasn't. I always felt like I was meant for more, all the time, and so I was going to college for photography, and I already had a few years behind me with the whole photography business. I was already in it. And so I was going to school for photography because I had this idea. And this was before anything in downtown was a thing here, like where you had your business and your house together. And I was like, you know what? Something's got to give. I want to have a business where I'm making money, with my photography. And I run it kind of like a Sears and a JCPenney studio where people can come in and out. And, I want to be busy all day long. I want it to, even if it's possible, like I live and have my business at the same place. And I had this whole idea and I would carry around this like notebook that we called it like my playbook. And it, I would write in it all of my ideas, all of my business ideas, things that I wanted to do. Like once I did start my own business, or once the business, was well underway, here's what I wanted to do. I would sketch out my camera room. I would sketch out my house, and it's always like they say, it's good to write things down. It keeps you motivated. Yeah. It keeps you thinking. It keeps you going versus it just being a thought for 30 seconds and then it leaves. And I would go to Denny's a lot. I was poor, so we were broke. And I would go to Denny's a lot to go have like coffee because it was free refills. And so, you'd get like maybe a stack of pancakes for $2. And then, okay, all right. You'd get like a stack of pancakes for $2 and then, your coffee for $2. And I would sit there late at night at Denny's and just in my sketchbook. I don't know what happened, and I still to this day don't really know the full story. We had like a disagreement one evening, and it was nothing. Like, it wasn't even a big disagreement, but he left.
Yeah.
And I didn't hear from him for like a couple weeks. And I was like, okay, like you just left. Like, you also have the car because my car broke down. And so we were like sharing your vehicle. So now I have to figure out how to get to work at 6 a.m.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? Like, I was dependent on you at the time. Like, we kind of had each other's back. You came to live with me. We used your car. He was helping me. He wasn't working at the time because before that, he had been taking care of his mother, who then eventually, unfortunately, passed away. And then that's how we ended up deciding to live together afterwards. So he was helping me take care of Christian during the day while I was at work. And then my mom would come home from work, and my mom lived next door to me. So then she would take my son, and then he would leave, pick me up from work at the hospital, and then we'd go down the street to school. Mm-hmm. And I'd go to school from 6 to 11. And so that was the routine for like at least a year, over a year. So this is already like the end of the spring semester. It's around finals time. And I'm just distraught. I'm like, what? When I thought we were building for a future. And like, he was a photographer too. So like, I thought we were building a business together. Like, we were already doing practice sessions, in the living room, like all kinds of stuff. And at some point, we had talked because I had to run into him. Eventually, he started going back to class, And I'm like, dude, what the shit? And he's like, I just don't want to be here no more. I'm out. Okay, why? And I'm in my early 20s. I'm young. I'm you're still not as mature as, well, I'm not as mature as I obviously am now. And I'm not as wise as I am now. So me being the fucking dumb, naive girl, I was like, well, why? Like, what did I do wrong? And this and that. And he's like, I just don't want to be with you. And he was a little bit older than me. I think he was like about 7 years older than me. Not a little bit, but quite a bit. I think he was already 30 by that time. And finally, like, I just kind of had to just accept it, Yeah. But I was still very just confused. Like, what was wrong with me? What did I do wrong? Excuse you. Like, what did I do wrong? I did not comprehend what happened here.
Yeah.
I was taking the city bus to school. I was bumming a ride from my parents and just trying to figure out my situation. Like, what the hell am I going to do about this car deal, And, oh, my phone. I have my phone going on live over here, too, so it kind of disconnected for a minute. A couple weeks later, I bring him his mail and to the school, and he walks me to my car, and we're just chit-chatting. We're trying to basically okay, when do you want to come get your shit? Because it can't stay here then. So I gave him his mail, and I kind of once again I was like, tell me again, or at least just explain it to me. I know you're probably tired of because when someone's done, they're just done.
Yeah.
And now, being the age that I am, and me being in a relationship where I was just done, and I didn't want to explain anymore, so, I get where he was coming from. But I still was like, I'm still not understanding, like, you lived with me, you lived in my house, you've been helping me raise my kid for the last 3 years, like, you're all he knows, he's done nothing but ask about you every day. You kind of left, like, I could understand if, like, there was another girl, there was something else going on, like, maybe I did something, like, I don't even know how we got here.
Yeah.
I still don't understand that. And, like, this is kind of where I broke. Where I was already struggling. Like, if you could shit on me, this is your moment to shit on me. I was already struggling. I was already trying to figure out my car situation. Taking the city bus fucking sucks. Taking the city bus when it's hot with your toddler to get him to daycare. Yeah. Now because you had to figure out a babysitting situation, or you've been missing class because you have no sitter, you have no car ride.
Yeah.
Like, I failed a couple classes that semester because of that, you know? And I felt foolish. Like, I was mad at myself. Like, why did I allow myself to be dependent on this person? Like, I should have had my car situation figured out.
Yourself up.
I started beating myself up. Thank God, like, at the time, he had been paying all the bills. So I had a lot of money racked up in my bank account. So, like, around that time, my dad kind of saw that, like, I was really hurt. I was really broken. And he's like, well, what happened? Like, why isn't he here? You know, like, why, like, what happened? Like, why would he up and leave, Isabel? Like, I don't know, Dad. I don't know. And so my dad took me to, took me to the Honda dealership and was like, go pick a car. You've been working. You've been busting your ass. You don't need to be taking the city bus. I get it. He left you without a ride. Like, pick a car, but pick a good car that you can afford. You've got a good job. Like, here you go. Do you have money for a deposit? I said, yes, I do. So he's like, okay, then go pick a. So I got myself a fucking Honda Accord right off the lot. And so when he was walking me to my car, he was all like, oh shit, this bitch got herself a fucking car. Yeah. But so anyway, so he ended up, he just kind of went into it, and he was like, look, he's like, you have this dream that you want. He goes, I'm watching you do this. You're going to school. You quit your job. You did all kinds of shit. You put yourself in this shitty situation, and you're struggling. And, you're going to school full time for photography, and, like, yeah, photography is cool and all. He's like, but it's not a career. You're not going to ever really make a living out of this. Like, this is a hobby. And he's like, I'm doing it to kind of kill time because I don't know what else to do. He's like, and yeah, you got me into school full time, and, like, that's cool and all, but, like, what am I going to do with this? And he's like, and you sit there on your little fucking sketchbook all day, and you draw all these little plans.
What a piece of shit.
And, right? And you draw all these plans, and you sit around at Denny's, and he goes, it's nice to talk about these dreams. He's like, but you need to step into reality that you have this idea that you're going to have your business where your house is. That's not a fucking thing. Bitch, what did I do? So at the time, I was just like broken. Like,
yeah,
you just literally shit on my entire plan. I changed my life, quit my job, got a new job that paid half the amount. Like, I'm struggling in life just to pay rent, just to eat. And I'm talking like I had $4 a day to my name to eat. And I figured out dollar menu, like, real quickly. And, like,
oh my gosh.
I lived on sandwiches and cup of soups, and, like, I struggled because I needed to make sure my kid was straight, my rent was paid. Gas at the time was like $6 a gallon when minimum wage was only $10.
Yeah.
Like, it was ridiculous. Like, it was awful. And literally my only way out of this situation was to graduate college. That was my plan, was to graduate college, get myself ready to start my own business, to have my own business in my home so that I can raise my son comfortably where I work. Because I didn't like the fact that when I was a manager at Sears, I missed out on everything. I didn't get to watch my son crawl for the first time, walk, no nothing. Like, I missed all of that. And that hurt me. So no, I said, you know what? I'm going to put my head down for 4 years. I'm going to bust my ass because if I don't, my life is never going to change. And I'm in the middle of it. I'm in my second year finishing up the last semester, the spring semester. And he's just like, you just have this far-fetched dream that like, he goes, when you faceplant and you realize that it doesn't work, I don't want to be there to watch.
Cool. You didn't.
And I was so just broken.
That's crazy.
It fucking hurt.
Yeah.
It broke me. You break my heart, tell me I can't do something.
Right.
And that my dreams are bullshit.
Yeah.
And he's like, you just have to wake up and realize, like, you've got a good job at the hospital. You should just stick to that and just do the photography thing as a hobby. And you just want to build this big ass business. And like, I don't want to be a part of it. And he's like, I just don't want to watch you faceplant. I was like, fuck. Damn. So I said, okay. He shut me up. I never asked him again why. For all I know, like I said, there could have been another reason, but I took it for what it was. And I went home with my tail between my legs. And I remember just sitting and just, I don't even know how to explain what word I'm looking for. Like, he just took everything out of me. I sat on the couch for like, I swear, like a week. Because by that time, so then like 2 days later, I got let go from the hospital.
Damn.
Because they were doing cutbacks and everything. And so they happened to cut out a lot of people that didn't have a medical license. I had been asked to work on the floor, the postpartum floor. And I had interviewed for an OBA job, but because I was already in, because I was doing photography and I wanted to leave that job. So I really didn't belong there, you know? So they let me go. I lost my full-time job and they cut me like, I don't remember the exact amount. It must have been like a $5,000 check at the time. And I went home. I was so scared to tell my parents because like my dad just helped me get a vehicle. My parents, not that they never helped me, but something like that, that's big.
Yeah.
And you can't fuck that up. And I was just so scared. I remember like going home, on my way home, calling my friend that still worked at Sears that was managing one of the studios. And I was like, hey, do you have a position for me? Like I got myself a job. It was just part-time. And I remember just like being home for a week, just staring at the wall. Like literally making me rethink all my life choices and what am I doing? Am I doing something right? Am I doing something wrong? Like I'm knee deep in this. Like how do I get myself out of it? What if he is right? What if, and like he even tried to go on to say that I wasn't a good person and like this and that. And I was just like, am I not a good person? Like what's wrong with me and this and that. And like, I was crying, like all kinds of stuff. Cause like I had never been beat down like that.
Yeah.
Never. And I've gone through a lot of shit with guys. But that, I think, was my biggest moment, slap in the face, that it changed everything about me. Because by the end of the week, you're not eating, not doing nothing but sitting and staring at the fucking blank TV because your mind can't stop thinking, like, did I just fuck up my whole life? And I remember by, like, the end of the week, I was like, you know what? No, I'm a good fucking person. And I started thinking of all the good shit that I had done for this person. Like, come on, like, what girlfriend gets you back in college, helps you, gets you going? Like, you had a place to live. You know what I mean? Seriously. You had a place to live. Like, there was so much that I'm like, no, you didn't want to give me my credit where credit was due. Why? Because you came in and you were paying rent. Our rent was like $500, but you came in and you were paying rent, so therefore that gave you the right to belittle me.
Right.
You know what I mean? And
it sounded like he was going through something tough
and maybe, and I have a feeling too, and so that's why, like, I ran into him since then, and I'm not cruel to him or anything, but I just kind of, I'm like, maybe you were going through something that maybe had nothing to do with me, but I was the nearest kicking post.
100%.
And you felt low in life, so you needed to kick me down.
Yeah.
Because I was going. I was moving probably in a direction that
he wishes he was going.
He probably, even though he was going to school too, he probably wished. And he was also approaching his 30s.
Yeah.
I was in my early 20s. Yeah. If this didn't work out,
that's okay.
I had a little bit more time on my hands to start over in something else. I was landing jobs. I had a good job, But I remember, like, just kind of almost pep talking myself out of it. Like, no, you know what? Fuck that. I'm a good person. And, like, I felt like shit. And I felt very fucking belittled. I felt very, like, I was nothing.
Yeah.
And, like, how dare this man talk to me that way? And I was like, you know what? People will wake up with different feelings every day. Yep. Someone can be like, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. And the next day be like, nah, I don't love you. And they dip.
Yeah.
And it was an ugly dose of reality of how people can be. That just because you're a good person doesn't mean that you're going to come across good people. It doesn't mean that, I had great intentions in that relationship. That doesn't mean that that person had good intentions for you in that relationship. Some people only want you for as long as they can use you until they move on. Like, there's many reasons. There's a lot of fucked up reasons I can come up with, And I was just like, no, you know what? I have never been made to feel like I am a small person. And I told myself, I said, you know what? I'm going to build myself up to be the baddest bitch. Yeah. Like, I may not be the skinniest, but I'm going to be fucking successful. I'm going to be everything that I said that I was going to become. Like, you're going to know my fucking name. Anywhere you turn, you're going to hear Isabel Arduino. And you're going to hear it. So I ended up naming my business. Later that week, I built my business. I learned the ins and outs of social media. I got my money, and I got my money right. I went to Boots. I went and I bought all my equipment. And I just started going. I started booking. I started working towards it. I'm like, no, I'm not going to sink here. I'm not going to stay here. That's your one opinion. Now, if you want to be a shitty person to people and, like, burst their bubbles, you be that person. But that's fine. Go do whatever it is that you want to go do in your life that I maybe was keeping you from. And go do that. Yeah. But I'm going to do me. I'm going to do me because at the end of the day, whoever I date in the future from then on, I want people to look at them and be like, you fucked up. Not Isabel.
You fucked up, bro.
You fumbled the fucking bag. You fucked up. And I swear, I told my friends from high school this weekend, I ran into my best friend from high school, and it just so happened to be that his daughter and my son are good friends now. They happen to meet without us even introducing them. They happen to become friends. It's the greatest thing ever. And so we ran into each other finally at this live show, and his brother was with them too, and his brother was like, oh, I work in downtown. I see your sign, everything, this and that. And I told my friend Marcus, I was like, yep. I said, you know what? I just put up a new sign, and that bitch is big. I said, you know why? So when my exes drive by and they see my name, they can't fucking miss it, and they can think, damn, I fumbled the fucking bag. But yeah, so anytime I told myself, you know what, Isabel? This may not be your last heartbreak, but for damn sure you are never going to feel less than or belittled or feel like, what did I lose? You know what I mean? No, you're going to feel like you lost something good. You're going to feel like, man, I lost a solid woman. I'm going to build myself up to be a solid woman, a smart woman, a successful woman, a good mom. And my outlook really changed. And my perspective about people, my perspective about relationships. And don't get me wrong, like, I invested into my relationships from then forward. I still invested into them. But my true loyalty was always to my job. And at the time, too, I read a lot of Cosmo at the time. So I remember reading a Lady Gaga interview. And they had asked her a question where, and this is where I kind of get that quote from. They had asked her a question where they were like, oh, if you were to pick between love or your career, what would you pick? And she's like, I would pick my career. Because your career is never going to wake up and tell you they don't love you one day.
Yeah. It's true.
Your career will always be there if you're working for it.
Yeah.
And I kept that mindset. And that's probably why I didn't lose my fucking mind with my next 2 husbands. Mm-hmm. Like, because they were crazy. That's a whole... I don't even think I ever want to get into those stories here because it's just too traumatic. But maybe I'll write a book on it one day. Maybe I'll follow Miss Pat's footsteps. But yeah, like that was my life-changing moment where I was just like, I had never felt like, even I hate to say this, but like I felt like a piece of ass. Like I just felt very fucking used, like for my resources or just anything, my time. And so, like I said, I've ran into him a couple times. I remember shortly later, that's when I started working with Die Hard's music, and I ended up being featured in a magazine, and I get this random text. I've had the same phone number since I was like 19. And so I got this random text out of nowhere like a year later, and it was like, hey, it's so-and-so. I just wanted to let you know that, you know, I saw your ad in the magazine. Like, I just want to let you know I'm so proud of you. I remember seeing that text and being like, fuck you. Fuck you. I'm glad you saw it, though. Yeah. But I'm like, you could take that compliment and shove it up your ass. Yeah. And, like, throughout the years, he's contacted me here and there. And, like, but it was coincidentally this last time I was single. And I'm all, that's interesting. Why are you hitting me up while I'm single? But trying to be like, oh, I just wanted to reach out to, like, the best photographer in Fresno, blah, blah, blah. That's so funny because I recall you saying I wasn't going to do this shit.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And what do I have now? I have a growing company. I don't like to say numbers out loud, but let's just say it's very fucking comfortable. Beyond comfortable. If you're thinking of a number, think more. Like, beyond comfortable. We have our podcast. We have other things in the works. And, I mean, clients come in here all the time, and they're like, dude, your name is fucking everywhere. I open my phone. I Google Fresno photographer. You're there. I look up Fresno photographer on Instagram. You're the first one that pops up. I ask people recommendations, and you're the one that comes up every single time. Thank you. Yep. I built this fucking empire. Anywhere my kid goes, he's like, Mom, everyone knows you. Yep. Good. And all I do is photography from my home. That is it. So, if anyone needs some inspiration, I've been kicked down like a fucking dog in my past. It always been shits and rainbows and, you know, and have positive reinforcement all the time. No, I've been kicked down a variety of times. I've had spouses more than at least every spouse that I've been with that I'd broken up with has at some point told me, like, I wasn't going to do shit with it.
And it's just to show the person that is supposed to be
your biggest supporter.
Exactly. Can turn on you. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many times where we talk about how family, friends, it's not always fucking fun. A lot of times, like, it's you get shitted on a lot, and it sucks. And at the end of the day, we're artists. We're sensitive. You know what I mean? Like,
we are pursuing a dream that not everyone
has
is
the balls
accustomed
to do it.
Yeah.
Seriously, not a lot of people have the balls to do it.
Because if it's not a 40-hour-a-week job, and you know,
I just want to do it as a hobby. No, you're scared to make that jump. Be honest, or I don't want to hear it. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, yeah.
Yep, but I hope he's eating his words now. But
high five, babe.
Thank you for all your support. This is probably the most supportive man I have ever met. He lets me be me. He lets me be myself unapologetically. And he lets me be girly. He lets me act like a dude. He lets me act like a tomboy. He takes all the crude jokes. Like, he very much just lets me be myself. He lets me lead when it's time for me to lead. It's not a fight for power
never
it's
a jealousy
not an ego thing.
Never an ego thing.
There's times that I'm just like, man, I don't like what I'm doing, or this, or like I'm beating myself up, and he's like, nah, you're this, you're that. Like, you got to think about it as well. People aren't doing this or people aren't doing that, and he hypes me up, and like sometimes I need someone to just shove me in the right direction and refocus, and I need that. There's nights that I stay up till 3, 4 in the morning editing, and it's stuff that only I can edit. I can't pass it off to an editor, and he's up with me. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's watching a podcast, or I don't know what he's doing over here, or fiddling with something or researching something, but he will stay up with me until I am done, and then he'll go to sleep. I can count on my hand how many times he's fallen asleep where I've still had to stay up. And then he still wakes up in the morning and takes all my kids to school. Thank you. That's a flex. But find someone, like how they say, keep your circle small.
Yeah.
When you're trying to do a dream, when you're trying to pursue a dream that isn't in the norm, in that 9-to-5 norm that everyone would be like, oh, that makes sense. Okay, you go to school for it, you graduate, you go get a job for it.
Yeah.
We are, as artists, we are creating our own jobs.
Yeah.
We are pursuing something that is only with hope that it works.
And you know what?
And that's all we have.
You really want to know the secret? Like, you guys really want to know the fucking secret? You share everything. You make sure that whoever's the most responsible one with money is in charge. I knew that. I was like, yeah, nah, I'm horrible. Here's everything.
Yeah, we tried to keep our money separate for a couple months, and I was off.
But it's just
ain't working.
That's the thing, though. Like, people want to figure out what's the secret. That's the secret.
We don't have separate bank accounts.
No.
We have our own business accounts, but there is nothing that is not disclosed to him.
Because
we don't do the whole, that's his money, my money, oh, let's go halfers on this. No. All the money comes to me, and I manage the money. I never tell him no, though. If he says, oh, can I get a hat? I need a new hat. I need new shirts, this and that, especially if it's work-related, or if it's just to keep him fitted. I mean, because it's not like we do other crazy things, and if we do it together. If we, we go to the Netflix stuff, or we go to a comedy thing. If we go out, like, we know that we work hard and we put into our pool of spending money that we can go out and spend comfortably, and it's not going to be well, you spent $50 and I only drank $20. We don't do that.
No.
We don't do that, but he will respect when I say, hey, we have a lot coming up, or hey, I just paid $1,500 in PG&E or something, and I say, hey, we just can't.
Cool, and I got my cup of noodles, and I'm happy.
And he respects my no.
Yeah. And
it's not you take all my money, and I'm not spending it. No, because you know what? When you didn't have it, I got you. Mm-hmm. And so we have made it even. We've never sat here and been like, well, I make more money than you, or you do this, or you know what I mean? We try not to do that. Cleaning wise, though, we'll call each other out real quick. We fucking hate cleaning.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah, oh my God, I hate taking things up the stairs. And if I don't have a kid around to pawn that off to, oh my God, I'm like, Omar, can you do me a favor? Can you go downstairs and get me this? Can you get this from the stairs?
I hate things being repeated.
I hate repeating myself.
I know, but I hate them being repeated. So I know I'll work on making sure that it doesn't happen again. So when she calls me out again, ooh, I got ammo. I'm like, no. I got dates. I got days, times, because I'm like, no, I work on things not having to be repeated.
Yeah, but there's times I got to repeat myself.
And sometimes, yeah.
And he'd be like, why do you keep saying it? Because you didn't do it the first time I asked, so obviously I had to say it again.
Same thing with you.
But we argue, we bicker.
Your
but you know what, though?
You won't listen the first time. Like, unapologetically won't listen. Well, look at me and be like, what'd you say? And I'm like, you know what?
You were literally looking at me.
I'll just do it. Never mind.
But this is one thing. Awful arguments, we've had a few. But neither one of us want out. I'll throw it around every now and then, like, oh, let's just break up. And he's like, sure. No. He's the one that's actually been like, no, we're not doing that. So he's very much, I mean, after you go through so much shit with people and you meet, you know, like, fucked up people. A lot of times
I know it comes from a place where it has nothing to do with me. It has everything to do with whatever she dealt with in the past. And sometimes I have to come down to realization that you just got to let her cool off. Because I'll be sometimes beating myself up. Like, what is the problem? And then sometimes I'm like, man, it's not even my problem. It was her old shit. Like, she'll get over it. And she does. And that happens.
And I'll be, there's been a couple times that I've been like, it's just not working. And he's like, yes, it is. Yes, it is. Do you want to go get something to drink? Let's go to the liquor store. Let's get some sodas and let's get some beef jerky and let's go hang out.
Yeah.
But you know what? Like, I feel like we got past that living together state where we're learning to live with each other, like in the same household, everything. You've learned what I like, what I don't like.
Yeah.
I don't like socks on the floor, you know. I have this rule: if I find socks like laying around, I find it disrespectful that you decided to take your socks off and leave them in the living room for me. They're going in the trash.
Yeah.
So you better not leave your Jordan socks around or your Nike socks around that are your favorite because they're going in the trash. Because to me, I'm like, you don't respect me enough to just pick up after yourself as an adult. Mm-hmm. And that's just my reasoning. But there's we have each other's back, and I like it. But for like, that only works if you're supporting each other as artists, you know, because we have recognized that in each other when we first got together, that we both are pursuing a similar dream. Even if it's two different industries, we're pursuing the same lifestyle, the same dream. Not everyone understands. We tried dating people that had normal 9-to-5 jobs.
Yeah.
And I'm like, 9 to 5? And then you have weekends off and you expect me to hang out with you on the weekend. That's my time to make money. I want to work weekends. I want to have Monday, Tuesday off instead when I can go out when no one is out and about because everyone else is working their regular job.
Yep.
You know, people that want photo shoots aren't going to come to me 9 to 5. They're going to come to me in the evenings, after work, on the weekends.
I'm a DJ. I'm booked only on weekends.
Right? You're booked on Saturdays, sometimes Sundays, and people with that normal 9 to 5 mentality, like, I could never date a school teacher.
So if I make it to your birthday party on a freaking Friday or Saturday, you better be happy. Because I'm losing money.
Stars aligned.
Oh my God.
Stars aligned for that, for sure.
I get so much shit from people, and I'm like...
And you know what? That's why I plan my birthday parties for my kids on Sundays.
Yep.
And everyone's like, why Sunday? I do it on a Sunday afternoon. I get it. Everyone has to work Monday. It's short, but it's on a Sunday.
People gotta go home.
I know that my DJ friends, my entrepreneur friends, the majority of them have Sundays off.
Yep. Everybody that has a 9 to 5 has a Sunday off. So
I tell my friends, plan your parties on Sundays. And they'll be like, well, I told you 3 months ago that I was having a Saturday party. Okay, but I booked a wedding a year ago.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like, it is what it is. Don't plan things on Saturday if you really want me there.
Yeah, you'll get a gift card if I remember.
Yeah, I'm the queen of sending money.
Oh my God, this one, we should just get a gift card. I'm like, I hate giving gift cards because I hate getting gift cards. Yeah, it's cool. It's easy. Getting it.
You guys want to throw me some money where I can pick my own gift? Hell
we
yeah.
We don't use them. It took us like a year or two to finally use the ones that we had.
But we used it.
Okay.
How many times do I get a gift and I don't use it at all?
Oh, man, most of the times I lose the freaking cards don't give me I don't like cards. I don't like a card. If you didn't write in it, I don't want it.
Oh, really? Says the guy. For our anniversary, you gave me a card and you didn't write in it.
She goes, you're not even giving me a card? I'm like, why? I don't write in it. And you're like, well, I want a card. Cool. You got a card. I'm not going to write in it. It usually says something funny and that's it. Like,
so this is the time that you should adjust to the things that I like to make this relationship work.
Okay, no, hold on. I've typed up a poem, and she goes, "Where did you steal this from?"
Because it was kind of clever.
It was good, and I'm like, "Yo."
Okay, so this is the thing. Omar can't spell for shit.
All right.
Okay, we did a birthday board for a child, and I did the whole photo shoot. And he was supposed to spell in one of the parts where it says like
cookies.
He likes cookies. So
cookies.
Omar, instead of spelling cookies, spelled he likes cockies. I did the whole fucking photo shoot with that in the photos. I had to go back and manually edit all the pictures because this guy can't spell cookies. So yes, when I get a poem that's well written, I'm gonna sit there and be like, "Where'd you copy and paste this from?" Because it even rhymes. Like, but it was cute. Once I found out that he wrote it himself, it was pretty cute. Oh my god!
All right, we gotta wrap it up.
Anyways, I hope everyone enjoyed my story. I hope everyone enjoyed our segment, just our bullshit. Our parents watched. Omar's parents watched our episode 2. Episode 2, you cannot watch around your kids. It is very much an adult-themed topic. But it was for the sake of just getting to know our foolish asses and how stupid we were, in the process of meeting each other and getting together. But our parents watched it on the big screen, and we got together for dinner the other night for Mother's Day, and they didn't say nothing. Nothing to me. Just his mom was all, hi. I'm like, they know I'm a floozy.
I was like, I felt bad. Like, I know, like, I'm like, I know you guys watched. Like, even my sister's like, oh, they're in the part where you guys are talking about, doing things. And I'm like, oh my God. And I guess they're like just sitting in the living room on their 80-inch TV, just
listening to our gossip. So yeah, from then on we vowed to keep it as PG as possible.
They're probably gonna watch this too.
Yeah,
they're big fans.
Hi Mom, hi Dad. Thank you for watching and supporting us. You guys are great. But yeah, anyways, thank you. I hope you guys enjoyed our segment today. I'll start reading a little bit more about with the Miss Pat book and kind of getting through that and just kind of giving you guys like a little book club survey of it, recap, see how I think about it, what I think about it. You guys have a good night. Thank you so much for watching Wednesday Night Live with Izzy and Rek.
Night, y'all.